there will be some border changes in the Middle East, and there will be some brand new countries. The two samples for these changes will be the abolishment of the reign of the kingdom in Saudi Arabia, and the Sharia in Iran will take its place in history. There will be another change at least as important as the aforementioned ones. It is related with Turkey, Iraq, and Kurdistan. At the end of the war, Iraq will formally be divided into three parts, and there will be an independent Kurdistan in northern Iraq. If we look at the region that the Kurds have lived throughout history, we may reach to the conclusion that this new country has to own the southeastern part of the present Turkey. In this way, it is obvious that the political, military, and social struggle between the Turks and the Kurds will come to an end. Any other formula to end the Kurdish problem in the region will be obsolete and cannot be successful in establishing a permanent peace and a social reconciliation between Turks and Kurds. The Kurdish communities in Iran and Syria will join Kurdistan in time as well. If you look at the maps of the region showing the population dispersion, you will see that the Kurdish populated areas are the southeastern part of Turkey, the northwestern part of Iran, and the eastern part of Syria. Of course, there will be objections to this plan in Turkey and countries concerned. However, as a result of the new conjuncture at the end of the war, Turks will have to change their classic and traditional red lines and will have to give some land to Kurdistan. In this chaotic situation, they will have no other choice. The most important outcome of this war will be the new global economical system that will be established right after the peace treaties haven't been signed. Our experts are still working on the technical details of the system. However, none of us exactly know what kind of a new world it will be in the end. But still, I can say that the foundation and the basics will include the IMF and the World Bank with enhanced powers and authority. A global central bank, a single currency, and an economic policy under supranational control. More than that, the war will trigger the economy as well. Federal Reserve and other central banks will loosen up their tight economic policies, and we start issuing tremendous amounts of currency in cash in order to finance the military expenses. We know that this policy will result with huge budget deficits, but this will increase employment as well as, and the economic growth will come to a required level. Dear members, at the end of this speech, I must admit that the disaster that we are living in and the solution that I have presented to yourselves on behalf of the Supreme Council is nothing to be proud of as far as civilization is concerned. The lifespan of our system is over. We have reached the terminating end of our era. However, we had our economical mistakes as well as the humanistic ones. Western world becoming the leader of rational thinking and the modernism after the Industrial Revolution could not keep and save its spiritual innocence. We have lost all of our economical values along with our basic moral values. The worldwide cultural awareness has been buried and has become history in a collective memory loss where the philosophical depth has been completely lost. We offered the throne of God to money. As we had a lot to lose, we surrendered our personalities to meaningless and deadly suspicions. We have looked at the rest of the world as a threat, Now let me tell you how the rest of the world looks at us. A poor specimen of a living being, thinking of nothing but its bank account and the profit in the stock market, full of ambition for power, double-faced, ready to sell its soul for money, sacrificing its love in exchange of its comfort. A poor specimen that had forgotten the pleasure of counting the stars in the night sky. A civilization lost in its own tragic loneliness. Our materialistic non-spirituality has accelerated this corruption and destruction, not the trillions of dollars worth sunken loans. Loss of existence lies in the nature of the capitalistic cycle. But as individuals and a social community, if you have surrendered yourselves to materialistic values, forgetting about the virtues of decency, tolerance, and love, you have done nothing but have accelerated this expected chaos. In fact, this is what has actually happened. Just because of this, this story possibly could not have a different ending. I myself am not a socialist. However, I do not know a better quotation to define our tragedy than that of Karl Marx. Whatever happened in history has happened that way because it couldn't happen otherwise. We, all of us, are now at this point of no return and non-existence. And we know what we have to do. We are aware of our responsibilities. Sometimes great tragedies and pain is needed for happiness. The price for peace is sometimes war and death. As the late economic philosopher Leo Strauss has once mentioned, shocking events are necessary sometimes to guide the people. And if these do not occur in a natural way, you will create these shocks yourself to reach your target. Therefore, our duty now is to destroy and then reconstruct with a creative destruction and a corrective war. As we have no other choice to create any world worth living. We do not have another ending that we deserve. The system has to die today to reborn tomorrow. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your patience.